Hello, Magdalena. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Likewise, thank you for having me.
My pleasure. You're friends with Brian Mirabella. He mentioned you, and I'm like, oh, who is this girl? And then I immediately started following you, and I was intrigued right away. So
Oh,
tell us,
that's so sweet of him.
yeah, he's amazing. He's incredible. He's been on the show
Yeah.
twice. Yeah, tell
Yeah.
us where your journey started because you have a story and I want to share it with the world. So tell us where it began for you. Like, how did you grow up and what happened that got you on this fruit journey? Because you're a fruitarian.
Yeah. Oh my heavens. There were so many aspects where it started. I shared this story so many times already
Yeah.
in
Well, what
interviews.
what do you feel called to share today? Like,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like the most important thing to me is always the fact the sharing the truth, which is,
oh,
I've been following this intuitively since I was little. So I came with this feeling on this planet, like, this intuitive feeling, this intuitive energy that was leading me through my life. And it's been with me since I was little. And so I feel very blessed.
mm,
And it is definitely something beautiful about this journey that brought a lot of enlightenment in my spiritual world. So I'm very spiritual person or individual, and I
yeah.
do feel connected on all that levels, and that allowed me to also connect with other souls that are uh, they were usually older than me, so I could learn and progress from there. And I don't know, it was like, you know, this journey is not an easy journey for me, but at the same time, it is because I feel like home with myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
You know,
It's so wild because that you say this because just to give everyone a little background that, Brian Mirabella is a fruitarian. He's been on my show twice and he is friends with Magdalena and she calls herself the Raw Coconut Girl, which I'd love to know where that name came from. And she does reside in Hawaii and she's a fruitarian, but tell us where the name came from.
you know that my name was given to me by by God, by universe. I just didn't even come up with this name. It was just there. It was so easy for me to, like, oh my gosh, I'm Raw Coconut Girl, right?
I love
It
it.
was as simple as
Adorable.
it is.
Yeah.
It appeared actually, oh my gosh, on my mind. That was like, I don't know, about 20 years ago. I remember I was like in my, you know way younger than I'm now, and I was just writing down in my, just like notebook, and I remember that thoughts that I wrote down, and there was like, I'm the Raw Coconut Girl. I'm gonna be, teaching people how to
Mm.
live on fruits, and how
Mm.
to
Okay,
grow
let's
from
jump right
there.
in there and ask you,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
long have you been?
Haven't had internet that back then. You also, when I was like trying to share with the world what I really follow. So that was the most beautiful thing too. Like, I didn't have any outcome. I didn't have any,
So it's
like,
been
help.
over 25 years that you've been on this journey, or how long?
No, 20 years ago was like when I found out about my name. About 20 years ago. I don't like to like fit in a dates and years. Yeah, but I'm 37 now, so
Well, how long have
on this
you not, did you ever eat meat in your life?
I did have episodes of having meat. Absolutely. We are living in this dual world, right? Full of dualism. So there's hard to avoid that, especially you know, when you are little, you want to eat the way you want to eat, but your parents don't understand you at the beginning. So, they're like, what are you doing? Like, my mom was a very big supporter of me having fruit. She was actually, she's my, oh my gosh, she's like she's the most important person in my life. She was the one who actually allowed me to do what I do,
What a good
and
mom.
she was trusting in me. Yeah, she had that trust in me from the very beginning. She was raising me also on fruits as much as possible, of course, because my dad was against that. So,
I love it.
they
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
my dad was like, she needs to eat meat and dairy. You need to feed her that way for a little bit at least.
program.
Like, what the heck is that? Yeah,
Yeah.
so
he programmed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So totally like different environments. My mom, that beautiful goddess, she's just like, oh, I just want to nurture, you know,
Yeah.
the
Do you have,
nest with all the
yeah.
fruit.
Do you have brothers
Yeah,
and sisters?
I do have a brother. Yeah.
Okay. And
I do have a brother. I do have a sister. I called her a sister, but she's my sister-in-law. But we are so connected. We are like very
oh,
bonded, and we known each other for like 25 years. So yeah.
nice. Yeah. So your dad was not supportive of the fruit thing, but I was just gonna share that like I always tell my son that like when I see fruit or like I start to, I feel wealthy. I feel abundant. I feel, or like I used to post these gorgeous, whether it was salads or like fruit bowls or acai bowls or something, and I'd post it on social media, and I feel like people were just like drooling for it.
Right.
And it
Yes.
just feels like that. Why we have these beliefs around protein, and do you eat nuts and seeds? Do you tell us also like your diet, and if you will?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I don't live in that propaganda of meat, of protein world. I still eat meat. I eat like mango meat, you know, coconut meat, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, fruit flesh, so it all depends on how people
I
think.
guess I meant animals. I meant animals. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, but people, when you say meat, everybody thinks about animal protein, right? Nobody will think about coconut meat.
Yeah.
But that's why I
Right.
wanted to like bring it up to everyone that when someone says, "Oh, I eat meat," that doesn't need to be necessarily the meat that comes from animal. I believe that people just follow it from based on fear because that's what we've been told to do so.
Yeah.
I was always the kid that was always different, and I'd never followed anything somebody told me. I was always the one who never followed the crowd. And when the crowd was going one way, I was going other direction. And the teacher was like, "Oh, Magdalena, come back here," And you know what I was doing? And let's say there was like a school trip or something. We were going to for like retreat or something for a few days. And I kept calling my mom, "Mom, I want to be back home. I don't like to be here. Nobody understands me, you know? So like I want to eat fruit. There's no fruit." And I was so young. And my mom was
Oh,
like, "Oh my gosh," I was like, where you go to school, you started going, even kindergarten, we have like trips, I was like 10, 9, 10, and
yeah.
I already was like complaining about not having fruit,
Mm.
in a place where we were going to, like on a school trip. And my mom was always packing me this basket full of, I had like a shoe shaped purse or like a backpack. That was so cool. And she always put all my fruit there. So
Mm.
tangerines, whatever she could find, like mandarins, apples, and pears. And I was just carrying that back. But unfortunately, this didn't last long because, fruit can rot.
Yeah, true. That's true.
But as long as I could, I kept my apples always with me. And yeah, and I just didn't want to eat anything I was served by others. So I was trying to hide
Yeah.
the food too. So I just tried to somehow, I was always imagining, how can I'm gonna live in the world that one day that it's gonna contain nothing but fruit on my plate, and I'm gonna make all these dishes. I was just like have that imagination
Vision.
full of it. Yeah, all the time since I was little. Like, I want to make noodles out of something so it reminds like
Mhm.
a noodle. How can I make it? So I was trying to be creative from the very beginning. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you eat noodles? Like
Zucchini
spaghetti?
noodles.
Oh, okay, good. Nice. So that was my next question. Do you eat vegetables? So you do.
Zucchini is a fruit family. It's a
Oh,
fruit. It's not sweet fruit.
I know
Yes.
avocados are fruit too. Avocado
Yes.
fruit and tomatoes are fruit.
Tomatoes, cucumbers. Cucumber is a melon, actually, family. So Yeah, there's so many beautiful like fruit that, of course, you know, in Poland, it wasn't always easy for me to get all the fruit, but my mom did such a great job. She was like taking us for on strawberry season. We were like picking all those strawberries and
Beautiful. So
freezing them.
were you born in Poland?
Yes, I was born in Poland.
Oh, nice. My dad's side is from Poland, my dad's side. Um,
Oh, that's
yeah,
beautiful.
I'm for Poland. Yeah, I can see there's like a similarity in your face to my sister. So tell us,
Oh,
do you take any supplements?
no,
Okay, because I know Brian takes
no.
his, Brian takes his, for the last whatever years, his, phytoplankton.
Yeah,
Do you,
yeah. So this is Brian is on the we are all on different journeys.
yeah,
I've been on the frugivore journeys, plain frugivore journeys, pure frugivore journeys. I don't take all of that. I believe in the power of fruit and
I love it.
herbs.
I love it.
That's all. It's as simple as, you know, really a lot of people are like, oh, so you really don't like they spend time with me as long as they get know each other, even in a I don't know, fruitarian community, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're really on fruit." I'm like, What do you mean? Like you're not?" Like I'm in a fruitarian community here. No, we eat cooked food in the evenings, so or something, you know, or
Yeah,
we eat vegan food. I'm like, "Oh, well, why you call yourself fruitarian?" So you know, there are people that call themselves fruitarian in some of the communities, and they not necessarily are.
right.
So
I
so
know.
I am very careful with the names because I don't want to be I don't like to put myself in a box, so I
I
call
agree.
myself frugivore. You know, I'm just
Beautiful.
following
Yeah,
my
I
frugivore
like that.
journey, and that's why I am here to help everybody to discover those gifts and be able to heal, be able naturally be able to empower
Yeah.
themselves to progress and yeah, and experience that beauty of this life on a full level, if
Mhm.
possible.
Absolutely. So I also saw on your website something about fasting.
You know, I will tell you. Oh, you asked me also the question if I'm on what do I eat on a daily basis? Do I eat seeds? So we maybe can connect it all of that together too with fasting. So here's the thing: there are different forms of fasting. You know, there could be a dry fast, intermittent fast. Then what else? We someone can call it juice fast too, right? As a fast instead of feast. There could be a spiritual fast. You know, there's so many aspects of like those fasting
Yeah,
ability.
I guess what I'm asking is, do you like on a regular basis do intermittent fasting or?
Oh, I see. Uh, I do believe in that. That's where the power comes from, mainly too. I think that's the part of nutrition based living. You know what I mean? Because I personally don't really like to share much what I eat in a day because then people start to follow me saying, "Oh, I don't feel well," or you told you know you saying you did this and this. It's a different side effect for me. Well, because here's the thing: I went through detox first. So I would never recommend anybody on this planet to do fruitarian diet without detoxing themselves.
Gotcha.
So yeah, detox, in my opinion, on an emotional, spiritual, and mindful level, it's super crucial. And then fruitarian is an option if your body desires this. Sure, go for it. If not, if it's too much for you and you are like flying out of this world, then just follow a vegan. You know, I
Yeah,
believe yeah, you know, everybody has different acidosis. Everyone has different genetics and weakness and strengths. So
right,
you cannot like I cannot tell anybody how to like
right.
tell them what to do. I can advise, I can give a recommendation, but when I started, I've been just doing this for so long. I started in literally when I was a baby. That's how my mom was feeding me too. She couldn't even give like feed me with her milk uh to the very end like she desired to. Nobody told her like what to do. She didn't really know back then, didn't have much information, you know. She was eating fruit, but that wasn't enough. So she fed me with fruit as well, you know. So I was really blessed with a lot of things like this that she was doing consciously, following
I want to share a
intuitively.
couple things that, my personal experience, like I've got
Mm-hmm.
digestive problems. I'm very similar to Brian, like had a lot of trauma and toxic living and at different times in my life. And I had a chronic health condition for 4 years. And anyway, I did a number on my digestion. So anyway, I had this nutrition coach recently who basically told me gluten-free, dairy-free, and vegan
Mm-hmm.
and very little processed. And I did that for 2 weeks and I was
Mm-hmm.
so good. My gut was
Wow.
so much better. I didn't need Miralax. I didn't need any. Yeah, it was amazing. And then after Brian's first interview, that
Mm-hmm.
was like back in 2022. I said,
Oh,
to
wow.
do it. I'm gonna try it. And I ate like 70% fruit this one day, and I was going to the restroom and there was no problems, like, that I've dealt with these challenges before,
Mm-hmm.
chronic constipation. And I'm very open and honest and authentic. I don't really care. But the point is, like,
I love this.
no, yeah. So, okay. So basically, I was just in the pool talking to these two ladies and I told them that I'm going to be interviewing you. I told them about Brian. And the one lady was saying she really thinks a lot of her health problems are from her from food. And
Yes.
I basically told her, and I think she's older than me. I basically told her, yeah, you're probably accurately correct. And I kind of said, the fruit and and just that she would never need I haven't taken Miralax or stool softener in months because of this eating this way, better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even after the 2 weeks going gluten-free vegan, I basically could eat bananas and rice and I still could go, so
Wow.
it's
Yeah.
very interesting. But so tell us a little bit about your spiritual stuff. So you how were you raised spiritually and what's changed over time? And like, I'm also spiritual, similar to you,
Oh,
I think. Like, we're not like religion. We're like universe, higher power, right? You get
yes.
intuitive downloads and all that. So tell us a
Yes.
little bit about your spiritual practice. Like, and how did you grow up a certain way and then you,
I love that question. Thank you for that. I don't know where to start. So I remember when my mom told me when I was little that you have that power that I would love to learn from you about it. And I was so little when my mom told me that, and now she tells me that she felt from me uh like she never felt like I'm younger than her. That makes sense. Even when I was little, she just loved being open and receive what I have to share. So
mm,
she was like very open to that. And I believe my mom had a big impact here on my growth too, that I had that person to talk to about it. Although I came here to this planet, I do remember me living out of this planet before I even came here. I do remember being in my mom's womb. I do remember the birth. I even told my mom how the room in the hospital looked like. And she's like, how you can't know all of that? Like, we didn't even have a camera back then over the plus like in that room when she was giving a birth. So she's like, how do you remember all of, I just saw it from the above, right? Not like when I was like in my body, but like I was out of my body still. It was amazing how I felt when I was a little. I had that feeling of being able to travel, do those out of body experiences. I just didn't know how it's called back then. So I just kept playing with it. And then I got to the point of, uh, wow, I lost it. I can't do out of body experience. Like, what happened? I don't like that feeling. Something like I felt trapped all of a sudden. I was like a little older when that happened. And I discovered that I was having that meat and dairy episode when my dad pushed me to have. my all connection with the spiritual world was still there, but the whole fun was gone. And I felt like I'm lost. I'm like, where's all my fun? Why I'm not full of, how to say it, freedom? Why I'm not as happy as I used to be inside, why I can be happy as a kid when I used to be a kid. I remember that feeling of being free, careless, and like fascinated over a little thing. Where is all of that? Why I can't do out of body experience anymore? Why I can't feel other
That
people
was
the
when you were
same?
eating meat and dairy.
Yeah. And then I got in a very serious health issues as well, because here's the thing. I was born when the Chernobyl exploded. So that was a huge radiation,
What year?
Was that?
80,
In 1986.
86?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. How far away were you
Yeah.
from that when you were born? You were born the same day or a different day or after it or before it or right around it?
So I was born when the Chernobyl power plant exploded.
Oh my God.
Uh, and that was like nuclear power plant. And so that when that happened, I was still in my mom's womb. I was still getting there. It would happen in April, the end of April, and I was born in October. So they told my mom that I may be born with just injured, not fully developed. There were babies that were born with no feet, no hands, no legs, the
My goodness.
only their corpus. Yeah. And like there's tons of pictures on the internet like this. There were more in the past, but they were hidden at some point. Anyway, but that's what had happened. And so my mom was told so many ugly things that I may be, if she's gonna give a birth to me, and if she won't drink this secret, potent, whatever they were giving to people, iodine and stuff to drink, to protect their bodies from all of that nuclear radiation. So my mom didn't take it or anything like that. I remember they forced my brother to drink it. He was already on this planet. So I had a really tough tough journey to go through, because I was given chronic congestions in my body. I was born in a very God bless. I was born strong physically, if it comes to physical body, but inside like chronically congested, fully chronically. So I got all the radiation in me, literally. We were pretty close. When you check on the map, Poland and where Chernobyl is, it's not that far. So my grandma and my was with her sister. We were coming back from farmers market on that day when that happened in Krakow. They were in Krakow, and they saw that big like clouds. They were like, you couldn't see the sky. It was so dark, black clouds, thick, and they had like residue of
And this is when you were born, when you were still in her belly.
That was like in April when all the
Okay.
explosion happened.
When did
And that environment, that dirty air quality, the all the radiation, it was pretty fresh. So they even told us not to leave the houses. They told us back then. And my grandma remembers the taste of sulfur in her mouth and like toxins throughout the years, because the radiation is still there. It's present till now. So not in like Poland.
When did your family come to the US? Where did you guys go?
Oh, my family lived here for over 35 years. But I started to travel at a very young age. I was 16. I came to visit my family, and that's how it started. So I've been traveling a lot since I was 16. I
Right,
was
but
between US and Poland.
where did you grow up?
Poland.
Oh, until you were about 16?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
And then do you ever eat chocolate? I have to ask because I love chocolate.
I love the questions. It's like jumping all
I
over again.
know, I'm all over the place, but we were talking about your spiritual practice and then it went into
Yeah.
birth and you were talking about, what happened during your birth, this radiation and this nuclear explosion that was,
Oh,
so the
horrible.
spiritual, we were trying to get to your spiritual. And then I have a list of a few questions because I just, had so many things come to me. I want to talk to you about the iridologist, what that is. And
Sure.
you're doing
Yeah.
that. I want to talk to you, ask you if you ever, um, I don't think you answered directly if you eat nuts and seeds yet.
Oh, no, I do not eat.
Oh, good for you. And then
No,
lastly, okay,
I eat very simple. All I eat is fruit. I do not eat any cooked food. I do not eat any other food than fruit. Um, yeah, I am just fully frugivore, fruitarian. So yeah, my journey. If I would feel like I need to eat some seeds and something like that, or nuts. I don't see anything wrong about it when you're a vegetarian because it's still a frugivore part. It's still frugivore still eat nuts and seeds. Do my body craves that? No, I haven't had them for years.
can you
I
eat?
don't even remember how the nuts taste anymore.
Oh, wow. So here's a couple questions. One is,
Sure.
can you eat too much fruit or can you just eat as much fruit as you want and you're still gonna be fit and healthy?
You know, I do believe when you are starting this journey, you want to eat as much as you want and until you're satisfied. When I remember I had periods of time where I couldn't stop eating and I was just binge eating on fruits as well. You know, you can get there because you just like hungry. You just want to like you're constantly hungry because your cells are dehydrated. So you eat, but your stomach is just big as much. You can't just eat more than it is, right? The size of your stomach. So then it started to expand. You feel like a elephant, you know. So of course you can overeat, you know.
Okay.
But at the beginning, I believe it's something natural because you're hydrating your body. But after a while, honestly, you just want to definitely be more like present with yourself. Actually, you don't want to be more. It happens to you simultaneously because you once you become cleaner your body adapts, you know, and chooses the healthiest way of living. So now for me it's so easy. I eat very little, like if it comes to the size at the big at the like here in Arizona, I am not almost not hungry at all. It's just hot and my body just requires sometimes one meal a day.
Mm.
That's how sometimes I eat, or I eat 3 times a day, or I eat 5 times a day. I really follow my intuition and how my body feels like doing.
Mm-hmm. Love it. So
Um, it took years
iridologist,
to learn it though.
pardon?
It took years to get here though.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
took
no, I like it.
like forever.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like it. And you work out with weights?
No, I don't support that actually. I think the body weight is the best weight you can have to play with, you know, and to
Like
do.
push-ups and,
Yes,
oh,
like
pull-ups.
push-ups with your body. Yeah, like
Okay.
just simple exercises because it's not about how muscular you look. It's about how strength you have. And very often times I even just like with simple things, a lot of people are amazed. Oh my gosh, you're so strong. Like I can't even carry this, you know? So it all depends on
I like
how yeah how uh strong is your muscular system, connected with your nervous system as well. They're both connected. So once you heal one, the other one's going to be healed. The other one's going to be following the energy too. So I'm very resilient to like a lot of just like, I don't know, like temperature spikes and stuff like that. Like I can go to the very cold climate, not getting cold. When before I did get cold, I was like freezing, and now I feel like no, I'm strong. I'm good. Although I don't like cold weather too much, but I am very capable of handling it.
So I like giving value to my guests that are listening, or to my following, to the people listening.
Sure.
And so a couple questions.
Mhm.
What can people do today if they're interested in getting healthier and shifting their, maybe releasing weight, maybe, having better digestion, just, slowly, or I understand that there's a process and, is there anything what do you recommend?
What was the question again?
Oh, just what can people do today to get healthier if they're,
Oh.
they're just not,
Mhm.
this is all new information to them, but they
Sure.
want to change. They want to be a better, like
Sure.
I personally, when I eat, typically, when I eat,
Yeah.
consume animal, I end up depressed, in
Mhm.
fear and lack. It affects me emotionally and spiritually.
Yeah.
Where when I eat, vegan, I am just a much higher vibration. I'm much more positive. I'm higher,
Yeah.
obviously higher conscious. Yeah, but
Beautiful.
thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Uh,
So that's just me. And I know my son also experiences similar, but I don't know if that's my post-trauma, if that's something else, or if it's just that it's the animal, what happened to the energy from the animal.
how old is your son?
26.
And he is on this journey too?
Well, he has similar, like he feels lighter when he doesn't eat meat. He feels happier.
Mhm.
He's not as angry, he's not as irritable. He's.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. See, yes, I do. That's why I love working with this, because that can change your emotional level of experiencing this world, and also reactions. It calms down your nervous system. It can bring a lot of positive effect on a nervous system for sure. That's why people can experience this lifestyle calmly, peacefully, right? And when someone, it's like, I can tell, like, even just I don't know, like, when I go out and see all those people that eat standard American diet, or Polish diet, whatever it is, right? Traditional, following tradition. I see how they act, and it's something like I'm just hanging there observing. I'm just like in my world, and I'm just like,
There's a lot,
wow.
there's a lot of overweight people out there too, big time. The gut
Oh,
is huge.
yeah.
And I think a lot of that's from the meats, the animals.
Antibiotics in the food, yes, and of course meat and dairy is the most mucus forming food in the world. So I keep getting lots of vegan people for my consultations, and I want to tell you that they are so proud of being vegetarian. And when I do the iridology reading, they're like, "Oh my gosh, is this really how bad my the lymphatic system is?" Yeah, because, well, dairy is the most powerful mucus forming food on the planet, and right after there comes some meat. So
So
that's
tell us,
why
what do you mean by dairy? So what does that mean, mucus forming? And that's like inflammation causing?
it's
Oh, acid.
yeah, acids
Okay.
gathering in the body, and the body actually is trying to kind of process dairy,
Yeah.
but because we don't have those enzymes, and like we only create those enzymes when we are little, just to digest and
milk.
absorb nutrients from milk, right? But not cow's milk.
We
You
don't
know what I
need
mean?
it. Yeah, we don't need it
Mother's
to make a
milk.
baby, right? Okay, mother's
Yes.
milk.
And then
Oh,
when we get to a certain point, we can digest better. So here's the thing. When we are little, we can digest dairy way better than we are older because we do have all those enzymes and we are just freshly here on this planet. So we get all the gifts inside of our bodies. We are, billionaires, right, in our bodies, carrying all this beauty. That's why we are so innocent, happy, and nothing can hurt us if it comes to food because we're healthy. We came, maybe healthy. We came here with this very innocent way, in an innocent way, untouched yet, and not hurt yet, right? No broken yet from
tell us about
by.
iridology. So you're an iridologist,
Yes.
Dr. Morse, and did you have training from him, or how did you become one?
So I've been into iridology since I was 15. I started even younger. When I was younger, my mom was telling me that I was like drawing pictures of the eyes everywhere, and herbs and just like all the nature that if it comes to healing. So I was just painting a lot, and she was just like, yeah, I was just following that since I was very young, reading books. Not many books I had back then to read, so I was just discovering by myself based on animals, playing with them and observing, then helping people. Started helping my mom first, and then I
What did
my
your mom,
mom.
yeah, what did your mom need help with?
Oh, she had a celiac disease.
Celiac?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well.
Yeah, so it's a intolerance to gluten, and this is like the last stage after that gluten intolerance where you can get or you are already having cancer. So she had really serious health issues, and we needed to act as quick as possible. So she didn't want to do any biopsy or anything like that, or any other things that she was advised to do. And actually, the doctor that she worked with, she was very open-minded, and I healed on fruit so many, just a while. Like, I will tell you this, my body healed while I was incorporating fruit right in my diet. So it's not like fruit is heals me, it's the body heals itself when you create a
Right,
proper condition in the body on
right,
the alcohol.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's what we
yeah.
started doing with my mom. Yeah, and she healed her celiac disease fully. Like, she doesn't have any symptoms anymore. She doesn't come back, and she although she doesn't eat ugly food anymore, heavy food, she still she continued eating healthier.
Mhm. Like over Zoom, or you have to be in person?
No, I do it online. I do it in person. I do it online. I travel to my clients as well. I do it worldwide. So I have people from all
You
over the
can
world.
diagnose them by looking at their eyes.
I do not diagnose
Oh, not
anybody.
diagnose.
Yeah,
What do you do?
I don't diagnose because I'm not a doctor. I'm not
Right,
a
right,
doctor. I
that's right. Okay.
treat.
So what
Yeah,
do you
I
do?
don't do all those things that doctor does because I'm just simply not qualified to do that. But I am a detox specialist and iridologist. So I just teach people how to detox their body, and I teach them about iridology. I teach them about
Okay.
the acidosis in the body. Yeah. So I show them on what's going on with the eye based on their genes, right? Based on the genetics, based on their lymphatic system, based on their cellular system,
Mm.
and acidosis and alkalinity, whatever it's present in the body.
Mm.
So yeah, based on chemistry and physics, everything is based on that, and a pH and levels and things like that. So toxicity in the body, uh, energetic aspects in the body as well, because I do bioenergy healing sessions that I created, and it's been present in my course as well for Dr. Morse's international school. So it's been so many aspects like this
So
where I was
yeah,
incorporating
okay,
those
so
things.
I was dealing with a chronic health condition back in 11 and 12, and I was misdiagnosed multiple times, and I knew they were
Hmm.
wrong, and I finally found a doctor, and you know, it's a whole story. There's a whole story behind it, but part of the detox that was
Hmm.
happening was these coffee enemas, and I saw one of your videos that said not to ever do an enema. So can you share a little bit on that?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, big warning, emergency. Yes, big no to coffee enemas. That can ruin, destroy your colon.
I thought it was
Uh,
like a detoxing of the liver.
no. Yeah,
Well,
how? The liver doesn't require this cruel like pushers, you know. If you are uh
that's one of
you're
my,
s- uh,
oh no, you
mhm,
go ahead.
coffee stimulates the cells, coffee stimulates the body. Stimulants are not healthy. uh you know,
Let me
when
ask
it's
you
like,
this. One of my
sure.
college or one of my spiritual, you know, she's a vegan for many, many years, and she basically said there's no one way to live, heal, or transform. And that she's been trained in India and on how and why to use the enemas. So she respects, you know, other people's opinions, and but she is a match vibrationally to do the enemas, and she loves the way it clears her mind in her field. So I'm just curious what you personally think on that. You just think nobody should ever?
No, I never said, I would never say that. I know, just I think that person, it's good for people like this work with a specialist, and they know
Because
the
I
right
was doing
specialist
like
when
that, but I don't do anything like that anymore. But I
yeah, I experienced, yeah, I've been in this field. I started helping people since I was 15. So I've been in this field for quite a while. And I seen lots of things, and that included people doing enemas that can be, people just don't use them on a proper basis,
okay.
and you know, they just overuse them. And
Okay.
in also another thing is coffee enema itself. Like, we were never born with a coffee in our hands or enema bag. I always follow
I like
nature. I
that.
teach people, yeah, you know, I follow nature. I teach people how to do it naturally from the inside.
Yeah. Like my son,
You
he
don't,
doesn't believe in
yeah,
any
you
like
don't need,
protein supplements or any of these vitamins. Like he doesn't believe in any like, and it's wild because there's like companies out there and they sell all this stuff, and he thinks, and it's like, you know, all processed, right? Vegan protein and all these proteins, and I can't digest them. I cannot
yes,
digest
that's right. So here's the thing. I don't know. I can show it on a simple example. Let's say this is a wall of the colon, and you put here like a, I don't know, all equipment there, whatever it's called. And then it contains coffee, right? That
organic
it's
coffee, yeah,
stimulant.
or water.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's a coffee, still stimulant. You put it on, right? What it does, it may soften the walls, the tissue, and
Uh-huh.
it causes deformation. That's another thing. What
Mm,
it can cause also, you are unable to poop later on because the enzymes you are taking out with that coffee are so crucial, can be so crucial during digestive process and absorption process. And
mm,
then you are eliminating all of that with the coffee enema.
oh,
And you may irritate the walls of a
yeah.
colon, you know, and intestines, and very sensitive neurological points and other things that are hidden in, you know, in the colon and intestines. And then people cannot poop. Then people have sluggish poops, or they're constipated, right? Or they have extreme diarrheas. Yeah, because well, you're stimulating your body. There's another example. I had a client, she came to me, she after her colon was removed already, a part of her colon. I'm like, what happened? Guess what? I did enema. And I'm like, how often? And she's like, a few times. I'm like, oh my God. And so even the doctor told her to avoid enema. So it's not for everyone and it can hurt
Yeah.
people.
Let me ask you this. Do you personally, and again, if you don't want to answer, that's fine, but
Sure.
do you go to Western doctors? Do you have, like, do you ever go to
Uh,
a doctor?
so I I think doctors can be amazing. They can help. Oftentimes they can, but there are also doctors that can't. I think we all
And they're
live in.
practicing. They're practicing. They're not like, they don't know you know your body, right? I used to go,
Yeah,
I mean, I brought like supplements. I remember like the doctor who I kept going to when I was having all the health problems and she couldn't figure anything out. And then everyone kept telling me I had fibromyalgia. And then finally I went to a rheumatologist and
yes,
he did a physical exam and tried telling me I had fibromyalgia and I had a bag of supplements I was taking every day. And I said, you're going to tell me from a physical exam? And he's like, well, I can draw blood. And I'm like, please do. Like, that's why I came here. So he drew the blood. It showed Lyme disease. And he said, it's rare in Michigan, which I believed him. But a friend of mine who's a pharmaceutical rep actually in Arizona, he said, look into that, look into that. And then the doctor did the additional Western blot test. And I started looking into the Lyme disease and like, of course, all the puzzle pieces fell in place because I was in the groups with all the doctor or all the patients that have read every book and they've been to every doctor and they knew all the things. Anyway, I go back to him and yes, it was the Western, but it was confirmed. And ultimately, I knew that I needed doxycycline and he said, you need to go to an infectious disease doctor, which of course they told me not to. And they said, you need a Lyme literate doc. It's a whole story. I won't get all into it.
sure.
The point is, it was a nightmare at the time. It was
Mhm.
horrible. I was in a lot of pain and a lot of challenges happened in my life at that time, but as I look back, that was the beginning of my spiritual awakening. And that was the beginning. That was literally, I was so toxic and, it just, but, a lot happened. And then in 2016, I was in a workshop and the guy said, oh, you identify yourself as this person. And I said, light bulb moment, went back to the MD, alternative doctor, and she ran blood and it didn't show. And I was like, okay, I'm done identifying myself with this illness and being a sick person that's never going to have a boyfriend, that's never going to have, da, 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 da. But,
Mhm.
anyway, I brought it up because, a couple things. I went to we had this health store where this woman came from Arizona, actually. She came to speak and her husband was a doctor. And she said, you don't need doctors unless you
Yeah.
have a heart attack or you break a leg. She said, the body, she's saying the body can heal, blah, 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 all these things. And I went up to her at the end and I was crying and I was like, what do I do? I'm in all this pain and I don't know what to do. And she told me to go to an endocrinologist, which was weird. I did listen to her and it didn't solve anything. But the point is, I just ultimately, I have respect for doctors. There's no disrespect
Of
here.
course.
I understand, but they are practicing. They are not, they don't have all the answers. They're practicing. So I think the best doctors, two things, the best doctors are going to listen really well to you, to us,
Yes.
because we know
That
a
that's
lot.
why
Yeah.
that's why I was saying there are
Yeah.
doctors that are really good in their field because they can listen.
And
I yeah,
I was just
uh-huh.
going to say, and they will learn about
Yes.
natural nutrition.
Yes.
But go ahead.
Yes.
What were you going to say?
I was really blessed working with open-minded doctors very often. So I like in every field, right? There can be someone that works with you. There's can be someone that doesn't work with you. And
Mhm.
if that they don't work with you, I always then ask myself a question, like, okay, I guess there I always start with nature, no matter what. That's what I'm coming from. That's why I do what I do.
Yeah.
I always try to. Sometimes it really even sometimes when you go to the doctor, when the people struggle emotionally, let's say, they tell the doctor that, and the doctor says, what, like, calm down, go, relax, don't do anything, just relax. And people sometimes pushing, no, I need something, I need a pill, I don't feel well, right?
Yeah.
And the doctor is like, are you sure you need a pill? So they really, everyone's trying here to help, right? Some people just may not understand how everything works, and they don't follow it correctly. So yeah, and then it's like, so I feel sad and bad for people, for souls like this, but because there is always an answer, and there's always an answer, and nature is always going to be the answer, because no matter what meds people take, they're based on nature.
Yeah.
They're made out of nature. There's always the part that
you mentioned herbs
that comes from plants. Yeah.
Do you personally take any herbs to support you, or
Oh yeah, I was saying at the beginning, I am a big supporter of fruits and herbs.
Oh, herbs. Yeah, I thought you said.
Yeah.
So what kind of herbs do you take?
Oh my gosh, there's so bunch of the herbs that I take. I work with herbs too a lot, so that's what my
daily you take
programs and detox protocols are based.
Oh,
so it all depends
I
on
took a lot of herbs when I was dealing with my Lyme. I did multiple things, and I quit alcohol for 2.5 years, and I lit candles every Friday night, and I prayed, and I mean, I did everything in my power to heal myself through medicinal herbs. I bought expensive herbs, and so I was just.
Have you ever worked with Dr. Morse's specialist?
No, but I heard he lives here in Florida, because the vegan community here knows a lot of.
It's a very popular, very, very powerful thing. Dr. Morse's has amazing tinctures and like mixtures of herbs that they're very potent. They can be very potent and energizing and conscious. There is a consciousness in all the herbs. That's what I work on. I work with Dr. Morse's herbs. I truly love them, and I do love. I'm in love with herbs since I was little. I just loved going to the forest.
Can you just give us a couple herbs that you take on a regular basis?
I don't take anything on a regular basis, to be honest. I take herbs only when I feel like my body desires to it. So when my body feels like it needs to cleanse itself more and I need support, then I take something. So it's really depends. I can say what is my favorite herb or what my favorite herbs are. I do love. I think that's the most common and well known. It's dandelion. I just love it. The whole flower is just edible.
My dad
from the yellow part.
Eat them straight.
Right? Yeah, from the yellow part to the leaves to the petals, and also the white little puffy ball. It's edible too.
I didn't know it was an herb.
Oh, of course, it can be very powerful for your kidneys. Kidneys love dandelion.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so that's
one of your favorites. What else?
Oh my gosh, I love white oak bark. Amazing, powerful. Another one, very highly conscious herb. There's golden silk. There's so many. There's so many herbs.
Right, but we can't just buy them anywhere, right? You want the good one.
Well, you always want your herbs to be wild crafted. So once they're wild crafted, they should supposed to be good. Otherwise they can be called wild crafted. So it all depends where they were picked for sure, and the proportion, how the tinctures are made, right? So it really depends on the quality of who makes the herbs. This is like super important. Some people are telling me, oh, I made those herbs at home, but I don't feel they're that as potent as I would have them from, I don't know, Dr. Morse, for example, or someone who is super spiritual and it's experienced in this field. Of course, because it's all about energy. So herbs are also created and connect with the spiritual approach of the person that is helping you to
Is
feel
it in,
better, you know.
yeah, are you taking it as an as a liquid or are you taking it as
I do love them in a juice form rather than having them in a whole like piece. I like them dry. I like them in a tea form. I like them in a tincture form. I do love to work. I actually anyone who is starting this journey or is on this journey, I would highly suggest to grab always herbs that are just herbs. So even if there are leaves or like there are like fresh herbs, everything is good. Anything you can, as long as it's wild crafted, you know.
well, let
I
me
do
ask you.
believe.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
please.
was just gonna say, do you believe that like if someone has like diabetes, they can heal, their body can heal through all of these modalities like the detox and the tinctures and the fruit? Or do you, I mean, just curious, like maybe
Hmm.
not the stage, the one that takes the insulin, but maybe like the other diabetes or because I believe that fruit is not gonna hurt your diabetes. Like, you know how, oh, don't eat a banana, it's too much sugar.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe, but tell me your opinion.
Well, I do believe we can heal anything. The body can heal anything at any age. And I do believe that,
I like that. I love that.
yeah, you know, nature is so powerful. And once it's utilized and used properly, there's no limit. I don't live in a world of limits. I do not
Love
use
that.
certain words because they're not in my dictionary. Yeah, I don't like limiting myself, you know. There is no limit. So I healed so much in my life. My list is like
I saw
so
on your
freaking
page. Yeah, I saw that.
right.
And it said that your eyesight got better, and I'm curious about that because
Yeah, yeah, it did. It did. And it's like, you know, you really can. So I do know some like for example, when you want to heal diabetes, like there's so many people when you can Google, I'm not sure if they're still on YouTube, but you can like Google and see raw vegan diet and you know and diabetes, and then you're gonna see all the
yeah.
people that they got better. My really good friend Christina, fully raw Christina, she healed her health issues on being, you know, raw vegan and mostly
Oh yeah.
fruitarian.
There's a
So
restaurant. Oh, I was just
so
gonna say,
she healed.
yeah.
You know, my
Restaurant.
grandma when she was with us a few years back, she tried eating fruit when she was diabetic and she did amazing.
Yeah.
You know, so and she was taking insulin at that point at that point too, and she still was doing fantastic. So you know, I think it's important to work with a specialized person. That's why I love doing it, you know, because it's just you
Right.
just give information, people just
Yeah.
digest it, learning, and they can woo, you know,
Yeah,
move on.
there's a raw vegan restaurant here in Sarasota, and the guy who works there shares his journey, and he healed so many things going this way. His body healed so much, and he's amazing. I love him. I keep meeting vegans. Like, why am I meeting them? Because
You attract them.
yeah, I track them. I met this
Yeah.
woman, and she's tiny, and she's amazing. She's like in California, and she had a dog rescue there, and I said something about eating certain things because I like making creative things in my food processor, but it's like dates and nuts and like it's a sweet, like it's like a brownie, but it's made
Yeah.
of dates, nuts,
Right.
cacao powder. And anyway, she's like, I don't do sweets. And she goes, if you want to lose weight, just go raw vegan. And I did for like, and I was like, it comes right off. It just, yeah, you just lose your extra weight. You know, I mean, I'm back,
Right.
gained back 5 pounds, but I just know that that's the way. And like the fat probably gets released too, because you're not eating it.
Beautiful. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, but also there is one big uh misconception here too. I like that you brought it up because there is raw vegan and raw vegan diet. Okay, so some people follow raw vegan diet in an unconscious and healthy way, and they just follow that super high fat and protein diet, and the kidneys are not handling it well, and they don't feel well. They feel sluggish. They gain weight. They can't lose weight. They retain water. So it's, things like that can happen, right? But also there's that vegan when it's low fat. But there is also that misconception where people think that fat makes you fat. The fat actually is not what makes you fat, is the fact that the body may be highly acidic, so you can process that fat, because we do still need some fat in the body.
Like
And
avocado fat.
yeah, and simply like healthy body can handle 4 avocados a day. When you are super healthy, it shouldn't be a problem. We should never gain weight, extra weight after eating. You know what I mean? That was just an example. The extra weight after just eating fat, it's a fruit, it has a lot of fat, but it has a healthy fat. It's an energy. It turns into energy. Same with like other things. If you eat fat from meat, you feel sluggish, right? When I only eat like avocado, for example, when I need to ground myself. So I sometimes can eat 4 avocados a day if I feel like it, and sometimes I just have a break and I don't eat avocados at all, no fat at all. But it's based on what the body desires. So I think it's also, yeah, it's good to just let the body heal fully and see what it craves the most on your journey.
Yeah, there were two spiritual, maybe you can touch on this. Two
Mhm.
spiritual women were on I interviewed,
Sure.
and one has been meditating her entire life. And I
Mhm.
asked her about her diet, and she said she eats what her body needs or her body wants. And she said, my body thrives on protein and vegetables. And that was her response. This other one, I asked similar thing. She said that. And so it's just interesting. And these are women like 40 to my, I'm mid-50s. So just saying, because, but
You
yeah,
look
I'm
beautiful.
definitely,
You don't look. Mhm.
oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I know. I mean, I appreciate that. But tell us, I mean, I just want to know that, I know that, I guess maybe I'll see what you offer. You want to share where people can find you, and I'm going to put your links in the show notes. Is there anything else specifically you wanted to share before we wrap it up?
I just think like, please be free, and maybe I wish if people could stop um digging the holes and more like putting themselves in boxes, like, oh, you're vegan, you're raw vegan, you're fruitarian, oh, you had this, you're not this. The Just avoiding that makes it more believable, and also I think truthful, because there are people just call themselves all those names and they're not really mostly follow, like this, and then they're like want to be example for others. I think it's important to stop chasing and racing, each other's, and I think then it's like a healthy way of, I think that's, in this society is so hard to avoid that, but I think if we come back to that, when it was in 90s or 80s, like I remember when I was little, the world looked totally different, right? We didn't have that uh tension like as now, and now it's like everybody wants to chase all of that, and being better than someone. Yeah, I found it first, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
proving the point. It's like a very ego-oriented world, and
Well,
this is that.
I was just gonna
I
say,
think eating fruit can open up the chakras, and
oh, good. I love that.
yeah, and I do see that progress with my clients,
Oh,
and
good.
yeah, and you discovered that with your son too. Like it calms him down. It makes him feel different, right? It makes him feel I'm not saying that it's not safe to be around him. It is, but it feels safer. It feels like home, right?
He's
You know
nicer,
what I mean?
yeah, it's like his soul, he's just a more loving, kind soul, yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
More back to
Yeah.
himself, his true self, yeah. I think what I was gonna share is it absolutely raises your consciousness, period. I would
Yeah,
never
of course.
But yeah, I think it's super interesting. I'm very intrigued. We're gonna share all of the links and perhaps, you know, we can do something.
Sure.
I definitely have been on a healing journey, you know, spiritually and physically and emotionally. A lot of healings happen, especially as I still, you know, relocated here 2 years ago. Like I'm dealing with a lot of like, do you believe that unresolved trauma manifests in the body with, you know, do you believe in that?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think the cells listen to our moves, and anything that we experience or see, or even how we create a thought. It's already, you're creating a picture of your future, and that can be dangerous at some
Yeah,
point.
well,
So
everything,
people,
man, everything is created twice, first here, right?
and then it becomes reality. And but there's a difference when you can see in the future. That's totally different experience, because there you can see in the future, you can see what's going to happen in the future, but that's not creating, because it's already created, and you're just discovering it step by step. So I live in that way. I try to teach people how to do a healthy way of tapping into energy and connect with the universe, without Reiki, without all the energies that are around and can be dangerous in this society. So that's why I'm coming from. I'm coming from the pure source to teach people about it.
Okay, yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. I love that, yeah.
So yeah, so I think, yeah, that's very important to me. To when I work with people too, I go with, and I interview people before I even take a client. So I have all those emails there, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna hop on a call with those people even for 10-15 minutes. Then I feel, do I really want to work with this energy or not?
Yeah,
There's so
exactly.
many.
I
Mhm.
like that. Yeah, I'm the same way with my coaching clients. I definitely, I'm not gonna just take anyone. I want it to be aligned and I want to make sure it's the right like exchange.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm personally, like I said, on this healing journey, and I just ordered this new book. It just got here today. It's called To Be
Hmm.
Loved by Dr. Frank Anderson. And
Hmm.
basically a lot of trauma is negative energy in the body.
Hmm.
And I've been
Yes.
working with an energy healer for the last 2.5 months. So it's been really life changing, I think,
Uh-huh.
for me. It's really
Yeah.
like super powerful to feel better in that way. Like it's super interesting, very interesting, but who knew? It's cool. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Like, yeah, we're powerful. We're very powerful beings. So we get to co-create what we want and it's interesting.
It's actually something very beautiful. I don't know when this one's going to be posted, but I'm here actually in Arizona on a business trip, because I was invited by one of the clinics that I work with to do the speech. So if someone is in Arizona in Tucson, I
Okay.
warmly inviting to join us on the 21st here. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, we'll see what
that would
when
that
it
would be
gets
beautiful.
published. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Magdalena. It was a pleasure meeting you and talking.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Likewise. Yeah, I had a really good time talking to you, and thank you for beautiful and creative questions. I love it.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate you and all that you're doing and just your light and your message to the world is so powerful and so beautiful. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate that as well. And if you ever want to talk about urology, because I know there was a question, but we never dive in deeper into it, I think that requires
Yeah.
just separate energy, because it's so complex. There's so many details to speak about. We can check as a lymphatic iridologist to check what's going on in the eyes on the cerebral level, and we can see strength and weaknesses. It's a very beautiful science that it hasn't been discovered during World War II and way sooner than that as well. So it's a very powerful tool. Yeah. So I'm
Amazing.
glad that that we have ability and ability to do that, and it's just getting better and better and better, even just tools to make it happen. So and
Incredible.
see it clear. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
The
I
guy,
love it.
the guy from the vegan place, I ran in, we were talking, and he said, yeah, Dr. Morse, he's in Orlando, or I forgot where he is. I think he's not far from here, and that he looks in your eyes and right away can tell you what's going on. Oh, your liver.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, what? That's amazing.
Yeah, when you're good, I always say good iridologist doesn't need any tools to do iridology. That's why I love iridologists in person, because it just show the truth, and you can see clearly what's going on in the iris and like in the body, under the layers, and it's just wow. The vibration of lymphatic cells is amazing. I actually also a bit I discovered, that's why I'm creating this course too about, and I also I included that in one of my courses already too, about the auras and in bioenergy healing sessions that actually they're named by my the knowledge that I discovered in this world when I started doing all of that. So it's like gathering all my experiences since I was little, and based on that I do iridology reading as well. So I include this in beautiful Dr. Bernard Jensen and Dr. Morse's iridology, include also this lymphatically aura connected iridology reading, and that tells me a lot about energy of the person, what scale and level it is, and how we can work on an emotional level with the person. So I put a lot of effort into emotional help to all my clients, which is very crucial too on
All
this journey.
connected. Oh, it's all connected, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So just wanted to bring this up. This is something I'm focusing on the most.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank
Thank you.
Yeah, Max, it was so good to meet you. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Enjoy your
Thank
trip
you
to
too.
Arizona. Yeah.
You too, dear.
All
Much love to you, and thank you for
right.
having
Love
me.
to you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.